Workman.
Here.
Jason Kyle.
Here.
Dennis Miller.
Here.
Angela Woodward.
Here.
Dan Lawson.
Here. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. Well, good evening and welcome everyone to the March 4th meeting of the Ashland City Council. To our viewers at home, thank you for joining us. Members of our audience, Dr. Lawson, Mrs. Woodward, Mr. Miller, Mr. Kyle, Mayor Miller, Attorney Bush, and Director Paxton. Welcome all. Thank you. First item of business this evening will be the approval of the minutes from our regular session on February 18th. If there are no additions, deletions, or corrections to those minutes, I'll ask for a motion to approve as submitted.
So moved. Second.
Thank you.
Lawson.
Aye.
Workman.
Aye.
Kyle.
Aye.
Miller.
Aye.
Woodward.
Aye.
Minutes will stand approved. First ordinance this evening will be an ordinance authorizing the issuing of a then and now certificate for the following attached expenditures for the city of Ashland, Ohio, and declaring an emergency.
Move for non-reading in full.
Second.
Thank you.
Lawson.
Aye.
Workman.
Aye.
Kyle.
Aye.
Miller.
Aye.
Woodward.
Aye.
Good evening.
Evening.
Anytime you change accounting periods, even though it is like the 4th of March at this point, why, there are always some catch-ups of purchase orders that need to be written, and the departments are busy doing other things rather than just looking at purchase orders and invoices and ordering materials and goods and things. And I believe that is the case with these this evening. Purchase orders just did not get written before the invoice date appeared. But I do believe that departments had anticipated some of those expenditures because some of it was fire equipment and some of it was repairs of street traffic signals. So a very important piece of our equipment that we really don't think about except when it doesn't turn green fast enough. But anyways, I think that these were anticipated. They just kind of got caught up in the paperwork a little bit.
Any questions?
Larry, can I ask a question, please?
Sure.
So it all equals to the 14,270K.
Yes.
Can you just explain that so everybody understands why that's in there?
The 75 that you're referring to, that already had a purchase order written
Okay.
in advance. It was the extra that kind of caught it up. There was a purchase order for a portion of the invoice, but not all of the invoice. And that's why it's not for more than the 14,000, because there was a purchase order for the $75,000.
Perfect.
Okay.
Thank you.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay.
They're
Absolutely.
blanket POs that get
Yes.
written monthly
They
to
are,
cover,
yeah,
and if you
Or
go
longer,
over
right.
or under, then you balance it
yeah,
at the end.
yeah. If it runs out, why, then it requires another purchase order or for it to be increased,
Right.
one way or the other.
Thank you.
Sure.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, is there a motion to approve on the first reading?
Move to approve.
Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you.
Workman.
Aye.
Kyle.
Aye.
Miller.
Aye.
Woodward.
Aye.
Lawson.
Aye.
I will move to suspend the rules for 3 separate readings, 3 separate days.
Second.
Thank you.
Kyle.
Aye.
Miller.
Aye.
Woodward.
Aye.
Lawson.
Aye.
Workman.
Aye. Motion to approve the ordinance?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you.
Miller.
Aye.
Woodward.
Aye.
Lawson.
Aye.
Workman.
Aye.
Kyle.
Aye.
Ordinance 23-25.
Next, we have an ordinance authorizing the purchase of certain real property located in the city of Ashland, Ohio, and declaring an emergency.
Move for non-reading in full?
Second.
That would be nice, however, this arrived
that's
to
right.
us late.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I appreciate the sentiment,
I take that back.
Me too.
okay. But it will need to be read in full, so with that, I'll begin. we have an ordinance authorizing the purchase of certain real property located in the city of Ashland and declaring an emergency. Whereas the city of Ashland desires to purchase and accept the transfer of real property known as 30 West 11th Street, Ashland, Ohio, 44805, and having Ashland County Permanent Parcel Number P 43-015-A-0013-00. And whereas the council desires to approve said purchase and acquisition of the subject real property, now therefore be it ordained by the city council of Ashland, Ohio, its 5 members thereto concurring, Section 1, that the city of Ashland does approve the purchase and acquisition of the real property known as 30 West 11th Street, Ashland, Ohio, 44805, and having Ashland County Permanent Parcel Number P 43-015-A-0013-00 pursuant to the purchase agreement attached hereto and incorporated by reference. Section 2, the mayor is authorized to execute all documentation in furtherance of closing on the subject real property. Section 3, that in order to enable the implementation of the authorization set forth in Section 1 above, this ordinance is declared to be an emergency measure immediately necessary for the preservation of the public peace, property, health, safety, and welfare. And Section 4, that this ordinance shall take effect and be in force from and after its passage by council and approval pursuant to Section 12 of the Charter of the City of Ashland, Ohio. Therein ends the reading. So, with that, Mayor, would you like to?
Absolutely. So this particular address, 30 West 11th Street, would be known by many Ashland residents as the site of the Lincoln Elementary School that stood there for so long. And as you know, at past council meetings, we've had brief discussions about the fact that we were talking with the schools about potentially taking ownership of that lot and turning it into a park or a playground for the area children. When the school closed years ago, there was a park there, there was a playground there with playground equipment and so on. And when that went away, there's really no playground or park amenity there in that neighborhood. And so working with the school board and the school superintendent, they have agreed to sell us this property for $1,000. And then our hope would be to turn around and secure some donations to turn it into a children's playground or a park, because there's a lot of space there. So it's actually 1.4 acres of land. And so tonight, it's official, and we're bringing it to you, asking for your approval. The school board has already approved it at one of their previous meetings, and so I'm asking the council to consider approving the purchase for $1,000, 1.4 acres of land, formerly known as the Lincoln Elementary School site.
I guess I recall when we talked prior that it was for the price of $1.
Well, when you consider all of the.
just joking.
Yes, yes, yes. When you consider all
I'm
the.
hoping Mr. Paramore's watching.
Yes. Well, the schools do a lot to work with us on economic development and other projects. And so I don't think it's too much to ask $1,000 to cover the cost of all the paperwork and so on that go with the transaction.
Sure.
So,
If you're familiar with that parcel, it'll make a nice park.
Oh, yeah, well, good location.
yes.
Any potential donors at this point, or?
Yes, there's a variety of donors. We've heard from some of the former teachers in that school building that are interested in helping. You might even have some folks in the audience that have mentioned the possibility of helping. And there's others that have played a role in building playgrounds around the county that would be open to supporting it.
Excellent.
So I don't know what the time frame is for the installation of playground equipment, but this at least is the first step. So.
Excellent.
So naming rights are available.
Well, that's a good question. I would tell you that we're
Dan.
hoping to name it Lincoln Park.
Okay.
And the reason is because the school preserved the not cornerstone, but the capstone from the school. And so hopefully we could incorporate that into that location, since it does have a precious history to a lot of our residents, especially older residents. So,
Forgive me, Mayor, but how is a formal plan done for a park?
Well,
when we have a blank slate?
we would work with our parks staff, and if we wanted to enlist the help of a professional designer, we could. But a lot of times, the entities from which you buy the playground equipment offer that service.
Oh, okay.
And so they'll make recommendation on what fits with the terrain and so on. And of course, we would be looking at things like what require the least amount of maintenance, what would be the safest for the young people, and so on, so.
And I assume this park, like any other park, will close at, what, 9, 10,
Yes.
whatever dusk?
I mean,
Yeah.
yes, it would be part of the park system,
Yes,
so, yes,
absolutely.
yes.
Very good.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, is there a motion to approve on the first reading?
So moved.
Thank you.
Second.
Kyle,
Aye.
Miller,
Aye.
Woodward,
Aye.
Lawson,
Aye.
Workman.
Aye. I'll move to suspend the rules for 3 separate readings, 3 separate days.
Second.
Thank you.
Miller,
Aye.
Woodward,
Aye.
Lawson.
Aye.
Workman.
Aye.
Kyle.
Aye.
Motion to approve the ordinance?
Move to approve.
Second.
Thank you.
Woodward,
Aye.
Lawson.
Aye.
Workman.
Aye.
Kyle.
Aye.
Miller.
Aye.
Ordinance 24-25.
Thank you.
You're welcome. We have no resolutions this evening, no public hearing items, no old business or new business unless council has something to bring forward. Hearing none, then we'll go right to Finance Director's report.
We continue to work on the 2024 audit and gap reports. And those are progressing. We had auditors in our office this morning, and we'll have them back next week to continue that process, review of how the books worked and looked in 2024 so that they can prepare a annual report to the state of Ohio. Other than that, why, tax season will be upon us directly, and we're working diligently to try to prepare for that as best we can. And that's really all I have at this point. If you have any questions, be more than happy to answer them.
Is the tax office fully staffed?
Yes, sir,
Good.
it is. And as last year, we have online filing and payment. On our website, you can file your taxes online and also pay your liability if you have to, which has been very successful.
I saw where you can register for an online account if you want to file online. How long does it take to get a response once you fill out the form? online?
Actually, that yellow card that you received in the mail had an account number on it.
Okay,
So when you go onto the website, you can enter that account number and register right there.
so that is
So-
your account number?
That is an account number. It's
Okay.
not tied to anything more than an account.
Okay,
It's not tied to a social security number or anything like that. Those are all kind of encrypted and mixed up for security purposes. But you can go on and register right there
okay,
and get the process started.
sure. Very good.
You can also still call or send an email. I mean, that service hasn't went away, but, or you can come into the office still. Just remember, if you come into the office on April the 15th, why, you'll be with many friends and fellow neighbors and everyone else. But,
The
Ackland.
mayor,
Yes.
you know, we're doing the best we can to try to streamline the process as best we can.
okay,
Okay?
thank you. Anyone else?
So if somebody did not get their yellow card in the mail, I did not get a yellow card,
Okay,
can they just call and get an account number?
sure.
Great,
They can help you get it all set up.
perfect.
Anything else for Mr. Paxton? All right, thank you, Larry. Council comments. Dr. Lawson?
Spring cleanup is coming.
That's right.
That was posted, I think the mayor posted it on the city's website, when those are gonna be, and so get your stuff ready. And be patient for those who have, and be patient for those who are gleaming the treasures from among the cleanup items that are placed on the curb.
And that begins March 31st, and the rule is that you're not to put your stuff out more than 1 week in advance. So you want to make sure that you visit the website and visit the Facebook page so that you can see when we're coming to your street, and then you have 1 week leading up to that time to put your stuff on the street. We just don't want it out in neighborhoods for a month or more as it's waiting to be collected, so.
So
The
those of
rules
you who
are on
already put it out
the
there,
website.
but take it back.
Yes. Yes. But March
back in.
31st.
Mrs. Woodward?
First, I want to thank council for excusing me from the last meeting. I was very ill, so I'm glad to be feeling better. Second, I want to, lots of chatter about what's going on at Holbrook and Main Street. That is a Circle K. They are clearing the lot for that. So I know there's been a lot of, hey, what's going in there? So that is going to be a new Circle K. So,
And I would just add to that for anyone that's concerned, because I know some are disappointed that it's going to be a Circle K. I've had a call about the trees, the giant trees that are coming down. The reality is it's a private property. The school, of course, owned that property when it was Osborne. They put it up for auction. They did very well at the auction, but it was sold to a developer out of Cleveland. And we have known that Circle K was looking for a site, whether it be on Cottage Street or Main Street. And through the developer, we've ultimately found out that that's who he was going to work with to develop that corner lot. So it is Circle K. The city did not recruit them for that location. We did not sell them that land. And it's important that you remember that the school didn't sell that land to Circle K. They sold it to a developer who bid the highest amount at a public auction. So that's why when these lands go up for sale at a public auction, that's why you see so many of us so concerned and try to get involved to influence the outcome, because ultimately that person or that entity that purchases it will decide what goes there. So, but this should be it'll be a good improvement. Of course, we've got the Circle K here on Cottage Street. We've got the little one there on Main Street. And believe it or not, they have told us repeatedly that this store, convenience store, because there's no filling station attached to it, here on Cottage, does some of the highest volume of sales of any of their Circle Ks they own. So it's a lot of walk-up traffic. So this one will combine the fuel station with the convenience store.
and this one's going to replace the one on,
Yes.
by the CVS?
Yes.
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 Replace.
And the question was asked, what would happen to their vacant site? Well, that remains to be seen at this point, because again, it's privately owned. But we will certainly hope that they deal properly with any underground storage tanks if they should decide to take it out of the business of being a filling station, which I bet they would, because they wouldn't want their competition right across the street.
Yes,
So,
I agree.
and we'll try to stick on them to make sure that happens.
Yes.
Yeah.
Great. Mr. Miller?
I just wanted to remind everybody, with going along with spring cleaning, when you're cleaning up your tree branches, you can put them on the tree lawn. I think the arborist will pick them up. You have to call them. And if you call them during the week, they'll pick up on Fridays. And I think the requirement is the branches be an inch or less in diameter. But that's a nice service to have, and they're very prompt in getting out, and they grind the branches right there on the tree lawn and do a good job. So just want to remind everybody that that service is available.
There's a small charge for that service, but it's not much.
Not, yeah, it's,
But there is a small
yeah,
fee,
it's tacked on your
Yeah. Yeah.
monthly bill item.
but very reasonable, very reasonable.
Yeah.
Mr. Kyle?
I'm good. I was going to talk about spring cleanup, so
All
it's a
right.
very exciting time.
It is. All right,
We
well,
got it covered.
a couple things I want to say are that I've been getting calls, communiques, I guess you'd call it, regarding the last meeting we had whereby we discussed the Jefferson Street closure or vacation. And if you do have questions and concerns, I want to tell you that anyone listening, that we are taking your concerns very seriously. And we're happy to speak to you about that. So if you do have questions or concerns, feel free to contact your councilman or me, and we're happy to discuss it with you. Secondly, we do have our charter review committee in place, and we will be meeting on the 18th prior to our meeting that day at 5:30. And we've got a good group put together, and we're looking forward to going through that process. Mayor, with that, I'll turn it over to you.
All right. So the first thing that I want to report to you, and many homeowners probably are already aware of this, in the Brookside Park area, and I was trying to get the streets that will be impacted. We're talking about the area around Arthur's Court, Priscilla Lane, Winthrop Lane, Overlook Drive, Plymouth Lane, Hickory Court, Elmarna Avenue, Fairview Drive, and Abbey Lane. That area on March 8th and 9th can expect to have your water shut off between the hours of 7 a.m. and 5 p.m. So hopefully by now you have received one of these on your door. If you're going to be impacted, these would be hung on your door by our water department or our utility crew. But again, and I'm going to go through those one more time just because if you're watching, I know you would want to know if you thought you heard your street. This is going to begin on the morning of March 8th. And hopefully, the crew will be able to, with the help of Simonson, complete the work within 10 hours. If they do not, it could spill over into the next day. That's why we're putting the word out that your water could be off March 8th and March 9th from 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. And again, the streets where we know there will be an impact, Arthur's Court, Priscilla Lane, Winthrop Lane, Overlook Drive, Plymouth Lane, Hickory Court, Elmarna Avenue, Fairview Drive, and Abbey Lane. And this is on our city website. So if you want to check out to make sure whether or not your street was called tonight, you can find out the details on our website. The reason this is being done is because for those of you who live in that area, you might know that down through Town Creek, some of our water line has been exposed with erosion and so on. And we are actually now finally going to take those two 12-inch water lines that are in that area and put them underground. So that's why this has to be done. It's not something that we want to do, but it's inevitable that whenever we do it, we have to shut the water off. So just know March 8th and March 9th, 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. It's over in the Brookside Park area. If you're impacted or going to be impacted, you should have received one of these on your door. But if you want to investigate further, go to the city website and we have more information about it. So we will try to minimize the downtime. So hopefully on the 9th, you have your water back. On March 17th, I wanted to announce that you've heard us talk a lot about the pump house development, and in particular that there's so many steps you have to go through before we actually see construction. I'm pleased to announce that we are now being informed by the railroad contractor that on March 17th, they should begin removing the railroad tracks that are behind the pump house property there that cross Union. So there will be activity taking place there. Also, for what it's worth, they're also working on the electric upgrade for the pump house office building to prepare for their remodel. And of course, that'll be turned into a hotel here, hopefully, beginning this year. And then finally, I just want to remind everyone that our St. Patrick's Day celebration is right around the corner. That'll be Saturday, March 15th. Saturday, March 15th. Now, that's 2 days before St. Patrick's Day, but it's a Saturday, and everyone thinks that it's better if we have our families there to celebrate. So it was a success last year when we did it on Saturday, so we're going to do it on Saturday again this year. And you can expect all the fun fanfare in green that you have come to love about the city on St. Patrick's Day. At 11 a.m., we will gather at the Foundation Plaza. And, of course, deck yourself out in all your fabulous green sparkle and attire. And then we will make our way down, walking as a unit, down to the creek, where we will dye the creek green sometime very near noon. And then, of course, after that, all of our restaurants and bars and gift shops will all have special holiday treats for everyone. So you want to make sure you come down. And the temperatures today definitely look promising, don't they? So it might not be freezing. But that is all that I have for our folks in the audience and those watching at home. Now, for the council, I will point out that on March 19th is the Ohio Municipal League's Lobbying Day. That is when we as representatives of local government are invited to come down and meet with our state legislators, our state representative and state senator. We did go, I believe, last year, right? And we actually did lobby our state rep, and we took several projects down that we hope to get funded, and we did get partial funding for those projects. So I will just let you guys talk among yourself to determine whether or not we go down as a group this time, again this year or not. But it's March 19th is when that will take place. And certainly the finance director is welcome to come with us, and you too, Mr. Law Director, so,
Very good.
all right. And I think that's all.
Thank you, Mayor. At this time, we'll take comments and questions from our audience. If you'd like to address council, please feel free to step up to the podium, state your name and what ward you're in. And we're glad to discuss anything you'd like to talk about. Pastor Bouquet?
Thank you.
Thank you for being here.
Absolutely. We love coming to council and supporting our community. But so today I will announce to you the speaker for this year's prayer breakfast. You should have a card in front of you to our community. People online, we've been very, very blessed this year. Edward Graham, who's the grandson of Billy Graham, will be our speaker this year. And what's familiar to Ashland is two things. Operation Christmas Child is very, very big in this community. We've done thousands and thousands of boxes for many, many years, many of our churches. So Edward is in charge of that program. He's the COO of Samaritan's Purse in Boone, North Carolina. So the second reason that he accepted this invitation this year is Ashland County, our churches, back when the hurricane took place down in North Carolina, western North Carolina. So Ashland's response to that was 6 weeks of teams went down to serve, and we did about $41,000 worth of contributions in generators and heaters, and it was pretty significant effort by our churches, which is huge. And I just told Pastor Dave this week we had a surplus at the end. When we were done with everything we did, we had a surplus of about $7,500. So we forwarded that check to them, and it went into their relief fund. So Edward and his team will be here to thank us as well as challenge us. It's a pretty serious honor that we could have the grandson of Billy Graham and the head of Samaritan's Purse with us. So that you should have a card on your. You are invited for free, and your spouse. We have tickets for you. Actually, our state rep is also on our council for the ACMA. So Melanie Miller is in charge of recruiting her husband and the rest of you. Okay, so she will have your tickets. And Mayor, we trust that you'll be able to address us as in the past. Thank you. If you have any questions for those that are not being invited as a civic leader, we this year, as no surprise, all the costs went up. So our tickets this year will go from $25 to $30, but we need to obviously pay for the breakfast. We invite, just so you know, about 254 elected officials in all of Ashland County. So that's a very serious undertaking. But every year, we have more money than we need, hence why Dave wanted to take an offering tonight. Okay, and if you have any questions, it's May 1st, 1st of the May, 6:30 in the morning, and we're usually done before 8 o'clock. We're right at the 8 o'clock hour, so it's very successful. Mayor, Steve, any questions?
It doesn't surprise me that we were able to make such a generous contribution
No.
to the Carolinas. I always say we live in one of the most generous communities I'm aware of in the country.
Yeah, it was
And-
significant. We did the post with Ashland County Pictures, so that produced, I told Pastor Dave this week, we had a gentleman in Utah send us two $500 checks to buy generators. He wanted to buy 2 generators from Utah. And then we had a church that saw the post in upstate New York, and they sent us 2 checks totaling $2,000. So it was very rewarding, and we had a number of churches that went together in the community to do this, so it was pretty impressive.
And I believe you have a personal connection to Samaritan's Purse as well.
I just happened to do that.
And
Yes.
would you tell us a little bit about that personal
My daughter works for Samaritan's Purse, and she works very closely with Edward and Franklin in disaster relief. She's their media specialist. In fact, I've already been told by her that all media conversations will run through my daughter. So
I see.
don't get any ideas, Dad. Yeah.
I think you should have her produce. I'm sorry, I think you should have for her to produce, oh boy, that English is terrible. She should help me with my speech. I
Okay,
think.
she can.
You should have her approach Franklin about introducing his son, right? With a personalized Ashland message that morning.
I could probably.
Because it would be pre-recorded, so he
Yeah.
doesn't have to come here, but he can offer words of encouragement
Well,
to Ashland.
My goal was to say, Edward, can we get your dad next year?
Yes, yes.
So, yeah. Yeah, we're very blessed that
Yes.
way. In fact, I'm going to let her introduce Edward because, truthfully, he's her boss.
Oh, I see, I
Yeah.
see.
So,
Gabrielle.
yes, Gabrielle. So
Got
they're going to be
it.
flying. They're going to be flying into Lam Airport, and it's a pretty significant opportunity. They do not charge us to do this. We're going to give an offering to the veteran cause that Samaritan Purse has a very large veterans ministry in Alaska. So we were asked to take any monies we'd give to him to that, and then we're not going to be charged any kind of travel fees. Thank God, because it's a private jet of like $25,000. So, yeah, but we're blessed. Any questions?
May 1st, 6:30.
May 1st, 6:30. We'd love for you to be there. If you could just, publicly get the word out. We do have one of the most successful prayer breakfasts in the Midwest, and our community is known for that, and we're very honored by the people that, when our mayor speaks and our county commissioners. So this will be the first official one for our new sheriff, but we're thankful for the opportunity. Okay?
Thank you.
Thank you for the time.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Yes.
Dave Flymeyer. Good evening,
Hi, Dave.
everybody.
What ward are you in?
Fourth,
Okay, great.
Mrs. Woodward's council or ward. Sometime, I believe several months ago, I asked about maternity ward at the hospital. Didn't. Is there any more word about getting it reprised or?
I have not heard anything about any intentions to restore it at this
Okay.
point.
With people coming in with these new businesses, I think that they might want to know about that.
No, but we're not immune. I mean, it's all over Ohio right now, so
It
it's
is?
not as though we're different than another community.
I found out about the last time.
Yes. What we're finding is that most of these rural areas are faced with the same situation. Hospitals are consolidating their birthing units to one location, and just like here in Ashland, you can receive care right up into the point of delivery, and then you would travel. They have a partnership. You can choose whatever hospital you want, but University Hospitals has a partnership with Ohio Health that you can have your baby delivered by is it a laborist? I believe that's the professional term that does that full time. And then as soon as the baby's born, turn right around and pick up your care again with University Hospitals. But I'll be honest with you, where we're concerned about it is, technically, unless you are born in a manger here, we don't have anyone being born in Ashland. Even people that maybe their mom and dad have lived here for their whole life, the baby's actually being born in another place. And so that is what's pretty peculiar, because they would be recorded as not from Ashland. So that's what's strange.
But like you say, it's that way all over.
In many of these rural outlying areas, yes. And I've talked
This is
to
not a
Ohio
rural
Health
area,
and
though.
University.
This is a-
It doesn't seem like it, does it?
Nope.
Nope. I talked to Ohio Health and University Hospitals about the issue, and even Avita, but this is the way healthcare seems to be moving, evidently. I was told at the time that it's hard to recruit the physicians that would deliver babies, and that it's such a challenge because of the schedules they have to keep. Because let's face it, a baby could be born anytime during 24 hours in a day, and it can be hard to recruit physicians to come to these outlying areas for that purpose. So,
All right. Thank you.
So,
Thank you.
interesting, I was told that the most popular doctor today, the most popular area of medicine to go into is dermatology, because the hours are so business day, and you don't have to be called in after hours. Makes sense, doesn't it?
Mr. McNall, did you?
Yes. I can. I can. So most of you are aware that we're very fortunate to live in a patriotic community that loves our veterans. And several years ago, a group of volunteers formed to start the Ashland County Veterans Appreciation Day, and that has become a wonderful tradition in our community. But sort of as an outgrowth of that, a group of Vietnam-era veterans put together an annual Vietnam-era veterans reunion dinner. And it's a time when our area Vietnam veterans can come together with their spouses or friends or as individuals, have a wonderful dinner out at the Eagles Club. And we've been very blessed to be able to secure wonderful speakers for that event. High-ranking officials in the military, very well-known folks that support our veteran causes. But this year, the woman that is speaking is actually the little girl that you saw years ago. I wish I had my book cover, because that would be the best way to show you. But it would be the little girl that you see running away from a devastating scene. She's all grown up, and she's coming to Ashland. I can't quote her name at the moment, but Kim Fook? Okay. And I can't tell you the title of the book either, Tom, so I apologize.
Fire Road.
Fire Road? Fire Road. But this should be quite a presentation, because that's certainly a famous photo in our country, probably around the world. And it's hard to believe when you see that black and white photo that she is going to come here and speak. She's been very successful. She travels around the world speaking, and it should be quite a presentation. So that is on March 29th, and the cost is $15 per person. The best way I know to get tickets would be to visit the law office of Kellogg DeSanto on Center Street. And you can purchase your tickets there. You don't have to be a veteran. They have 300 tickets available, I believe. I mean, they don't have them available. I think they've already sold 200 some, but they're able to accommodate 300 people at the dinner.
So we don't know how many tickets they have left, do you know?
I don't know as of today.
Around 50 left. Okay, so get your tickets now.
Yes.
Yes.
All right.
Thank you for bringing that up. I wish I would have had my book, because that would have certainly better explained it than I did.
Is there anyone else that would like to address council?
I will one more time.
Sure. Go ahead, Mayor.
You know, in closing, at the last council meeting, I expressed that our economic development annual meeting was coming up. And it will be held tomorrow morning at Ashland University at the Dauch Business College. And the reason I bring it up tonight is, first of all, it did sell out. So it'll be a packed house tomorrow morning. This will be the first time that we hear from an official employee of Amazon about their project. All throughout the steps of recruiting Amazon and then working with them to find the location to sell the property were done through various consultants that they hire to represent them throughout the process. So tomorrow will be the first time that we actually are hosting one of their employees out of their economic development division. They will be our keynote speaker. And I wanted to tell you that as a part of that event, of course, we give a local economic development update. And as we were compiling the economic indicators that we feature at that meeting, the council, you should be pleased to know, every one of them have improved year over year. So that means the hourly wage, the hourly average wage now in Ashland County is $20 an hour. That's up from last year. The house, the average home price is up. I know if you're looking for a home, that's not going to thrill you, but at least it shows our home values are going up. And I could go on down the list. And even for the first time, the census is showing that we are growing, that we've got more people. And so, yes, that's what I thought when I saw it. So the good news is we are moving in the right direction as a community.
Great.
So,
All right, very good. All right, with no one else wanting to address council, I'll ask for a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Thank you.
Aye.
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 All right, we are adjourned. Thank you all for coming.